Welcome to another edition of Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast, with your host, Brandon Morrell.
Hey, y'all, this is recording artist Lane Smith, and you're listening to a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. It's the award-nominated Backstage Podcast with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio Podcast. You can also stream it at thwn.org.
And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there, too, in radio and podcast land. Our affiliates out there, we appreciate them. KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and our friends at thwn.org, and powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com, and, of course, anytime out there, too, on iHeartRadio Podcast, now a top search show out there, too. And, of course, bringing you guys the best of the best, a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment talk. Of course, we'll have some more good things on the Houston Astros and all that Major League Baseball offseason news that's going on right now with some trades, and it's Christmas time, so maybe your team has got some more good things coming up on Santa's shopping list out there. Dan Matthews, Sports Talk 790, will be joining us here in a couple of weeks, and we'll take a break and then come back with fresh baseball news after the break, too. Pleased to welcome in Nashville recording artist and a guy that I've got my eye on from the first outset when the single came out, called Someone You Don't Want to Know. Well, we want to know him here on the show. Lane Smith to the Backstage Pass. What's going on, man?
How are you doing? I'm doing great.
We appreciate you being with us. So I tell you what, I mentioned the Texas roots down here too, or maybe I didn't mention it. I said Nashville recording artist, but also Texas recording artist. Talk about just your upbringing a little bit, and as we get to know you as an artist, and kind of shaped the music for you and kind of wanting to get into the profession. Tell me the story about the connection to music from an early age.
Well, I'll say I grew up rodeoing, so, I was always dabbing off into that, and I would always notice when we were at every rodeo, every single weekend, there was always a band that played after the Friday perf and the Saturday perf. And I was like, man, that's the coolest thing. There was something about it that I just wanted to get done, feeding everything I had to as far as my job went on the rodeo side of things, to get over to that concert and watch full bands play. I loved it, and so rodeoed all the way, really up until I just figured out that I could get into this myself. And I was raised in that environment where it was never wrong to chase your dreams, but you kind of did what you did and you made it work. And once I turned 18 and I was able to do stuff on my own, I was like, I really want to dabble off into this music stuff. I had learned the guitar a little bit already by then. I was kind of starting to sing / write songs. And once we were in college, I really came to me. We'd play after the college rodeos at trailers and stuff with my buddies. And I was like, this is something I really want to chase. And then it just got to the boiling point of like, hey, this is all I'm thinking about. And in the industry I'm in, I'm going to get somebody hurt or myself hurt. So I said, I'm just going to go all in on music and chase that. And here we are a few years later, really, and we're doing it. So it's pretty cool, but it's kind of the quick summary.
And it has to be pretty cool, too, because it's like when I started doing something like this, 6-7 years ago, it was like, okay, cash in all your chips. Nobody else is going to invest in you beside your family and yourself. So if there's any time to go for it, we get that one ride around the sun, you might as well just throw all the chips in, and you kind of like going to a casino and just saying, you know what, if I'm going to lose it all, let's lose it all in one hand. Let's play with some house money, right?
Hey, that casino talk's a little too soon. We just got back from Vegas and I'm down a couple hundred, but no, it's so true. It is. It's, when you do it, I just always had worked for somebody, right? But the second that you take that path where it's like, it's kind of all on you at this point, you can't have a plan B. You can't even think about it. My wife is we've talked a lot, but in the early days, it was like, well, we need a plan B. And I'm like, hey, I don't have one. I just don't have one. I don't know what to tell you. This thing has got to work. It's that simple. And we're going to do what we have to do to make that work. It's scary to say that, but I feel like when you, like you're saying, when you put all your chips into it, you don't even think about it not working. I think there's something that comes from that to get you to the positions and the next levels that you need to get to. So I totally agree with that. And I think it's important to know that. And I'm not saying like, don't take my advice for that. That's just the way I did it. but I do believe that if you're all in and that's really what you truly love and want to do and make money at and do for the rest of your life, I think that you need to not have a plan B. I think the thought of a plan B just gives you an option out. And if you just don't have one, then there's no choice but up. So it's kind of the way I look at it.
That's a good way to look at it, too. At the same time, when you figure out how to make money and you figure out the algorithms, everything else, good Lord takes care of the rest, too, no doubt. And I think you got to have that fuel to the fire, no doubt about it, and have that grind and that work ethic to be able to pull off the things in the respective businesses that, we're into, no doubt. The music industry is just the crux of it, a hard industry, it's just the bare bones of it. Pick yourself up and move on to. And I tell you what, it's singles like this, we got to play KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. It's Lane Smith, good friend Ashley Walls of the program here, the Backstage Pass. Someone you don't want to know. Maybe we do want to know him. You'll get the crux of the song here from Lane Smith, the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
I ain't a bad guy, but I like a good time now and then. I'm not a heartbreaker, but I'm known to push them far as they can bend. So you and I probably shouldn't cross that line, 'cause one thing always leads to another. 2 drinks gonna turn into taking you home. 3 words in a love-drunk summer. Forever feels right till it all goes wrong. Then we run off the rails, turn heaven to hell. I can already tell how it's gonna go, 'cause one thing always leads to another, and I'ma end up being someone you don't wanna know. But boy, I think you better think twice, 'cause I'll wreck your whole world. Yeah, I'll leave you colder than that whiskey on ice. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm a hell of a time, but we probably shouldn't cross that line. 'Cause one thing always leads to another. 2 drinks gonna turn into taking me home. 3 words in a love-drunk summer. Forever feels right till it all goes wrong. Till we run off the rails, turn heaven to hell. I can already tell how it's gonna go, 'cause one thing always leads to another, and I'ma end up being someone you don't wanna know. Do you wanna know? I should get out of here, I should leave it alone. I should tell you right now, no, 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 no. I should go get some sleep, I should get up and leave, but we know we won't. 'Cause one thing always leads to another. 2 drinks, turns out I'm taking you home. 3 words in a love-drunk summer. Forever feels right till it all goes wrong. When we run off the rails, turn heaven to hell. I can already tell how it's gonna go, 'cause one thing always leads to another, and I'ma end up being someone you don't wanna know. Yeah, one thing always leads to another, and I'ma end up being someone you don't wanna know.
Hey, Country Music fans, this is Nashville recording artist Jeff Basin. You're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime on sportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio Podcast. You can also tune in on thwn.org.
Are you looking to increase your online presence? Are you searching for a new logo or company branding? Have you been considering more ways to reach the world with your business, ministry, or church's message? Barkley Music and Media is an award-winning design company that utilizes the latest technology while keeping the integrity of over 30 years of customer service. Web design, graphic design, multimedia, video editing, voiceover, commercials, logo design and branding, photography, and much, much more. See portfolios and testimonials online at www.barkleymusicandmedia.com or contact them today at 502-382-8299. Barkley Music and Media, your connection for the best in multimedia. Call today, 502-382-8299, or go to www.barkleymusicandmedia.com. Barkley Music and Media, integrity, technology, and design. www.barkleymusicandmedia.com.
Hey y'all, this is recording artist Jackie Rohr, and you're listening to a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. It's the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio Podcasts. You can also stream at thwn.org.
And back here to the show again, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and the Sports Guys Podcast.com, thwn.org, and iHeartRadio podcasts out there too. You mentioned this one. We were talking a little bit before the show how hard the music industry is, and of course the media, radio business too, but the work ethic, and it's all about who you associate yourself with. And I mentioned she's a good friend of the show because I really enjoy her music. Fantastic. Talk about how this one came together. She's such a phenomenal talent. And I put her in that really classification of this next breakout female artist we're seeing with Ashley Walls, a phenomenal duet. Talk about this.
Yeah, crazy story. We met on tour last year, actually. She was on a separate tour. I was on my own tour with another guy, Creed Fisher, and we met in Portland, Oregon, Ponderosa Lounge for the first time ever. Her sister had DM'd me, and because her sister's in the industry as well, Christy, she works for Ignition Publishing and stuff. So, summed up story, we got back together after we met on the road, ironically, and turns out that her two favorite writers were my two favorite writers, and we just didn't know that we wrote with each other. And so we're like, well, this is kind of a bound thing to happen. Let's just get together. And I was needing a duet at the time, and I think she was definitely open to one. We sat down with our two favorite guys, Aaron Rosen and Charles Walker, and we literally wrote the song in, I think, 50 minutes. I mean, it was very, very quick. We actually had to stop and reread it, because sometimes when it feels so good and you write it so quick, it feels great, but you have to just run it down and be like, is it that good, kind of thing. And we sure enough did, and we were like, wow, I don't think there's a thing we'd change on this. So we cut a little demo there at Aaron's place, and I think it was 2 months later, it was out. I mean, we just got on it quick. We just shot the music video for it, got in, recorded it, and then put it out, did the promo on it and stuff, and the rest is history. So, yeah, it was super cool to meet her. And obviously now we're as good of friends as you can get. And Christy's awesome. She is such a good team. Ashley herself. I have a great team myself. It was just such an easy process. When you bring two teams together, it always kind of gets a little jumbled, I feel like, but this process was as smooth as they come. I mean, there was no hiccups. It was, yes, we all agreed on everything. If there was something we didn't like, we agreed on that. So I'm just glad the world's out there to listen to it. Honestly, I think it's getting pretty close to 200, 300, 250,000 streams, I think, all time, and it ain't been out very long. So I think it's shows credit to myself and her, and then everybody that works so hard behind us, that people are enjoying it, and we have the reach that we need to get to, and I'm just glad everybody's enjoying it. We haven't heard anything bad about it yet, knock on wood, but everybody's enjoyed it so far. So
Hey, November 14th, so a little bit over a month right there too. Phenomenal on the stream numbers there. Hey, before I play the next one here, I'll talk about just a body of work, putting out a great album here. Got a chance to listen to it cover to cover back on April 11th, Austin, when it comes out here too. A lot of great songs on here too. And again, country music is such that I say it here all the time on the show because it is. It's storytelling, and you took a lot of songs on here, the ones that made this particular record, and dude, it just told a lot of great stories. Kind of hit on some of the highlights of this record for me.
I think that I learned a lot with this record. I think it's one of those records that I went from kind of being a C a D player to a C player, if that makes sense. You know, it was one that I learned a lot in the recording process. We had switched producers. I had one of the songs that really put me on the radar come out, Austin. And it was just one of those records where I'm forever grateful for it. You know, it got me my first publishing deal. It's just, there's so much that comes with it. I think the stories behind it was like the growth of from where my first record was to this record. It's one of those where I could see myself coming into the artistry and actually creating not just songs to listen to, but like songs that I fully enjoy, like songs that are fully me, songs that I had an idea about and I got to take it to my friends or people I didn't know just yet. And we got to write and finish it out. You know, it's a song that it's a record that I give a lot of credit to. And we play pretty much like 90% of those songs at the live show anyways. So it's kind of proven it's worth a little bit there. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I love the storytelling again behind it too, and just the backstory of a lot of these tunes. And one we're going to talk about here and play here is Good Thing Going. Here it is, Lane Smith, the Backstage Pass. Again, the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and of course out there, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, iHeartRadio Podcasts, and THWN.org. We'll come back and talk about it. Stay tuned.
Outside looking in, we got a good thing going. Got this whole town thinking we're doing one hell of a job, keeping up with the Joneses. It's all white picket fences and goodnight kissing, but hell, something's always been missing. So don't be so surprised when you're driving by and she ain't outside on the front porch swing. Don't be so surprised when the house gets an SOLD sign with an empty drive. Yeah, this whole time the whole town thinks we got a good thing going, but this good thing's been going away, way, yeah, the grass ain't ever looked greener, and the front porch ain't ever looked cleaner. Now there's boxes in the halls, no more pictures on the walls, but throwing out memories of who we were. So don't be so surprised when you're driving by and she ain't outside on the front porch swing. Don't be so surprised when the house gets an SOLD sign with an empty drive. Yeah, this whole time the whole town thinks we got a good thing going, but this good thing's been going away, going away, going away. So don't be so surprised when you're driving by and she ain't outside on the front porch swing. Don't be so surprised when the house gets an SOLD sign with an empty drive. Yeah, this whole time the whole town thinks we got a good thing going, but this good thing's been going away, going away, going away, going, yeah, going.
Hey, y'all, this is Bucky Hurd with the Righteous Brothers, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. You can also stream the show on THWN.org and anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com.
Is your home or business in need of a fresh look? Right Flow Pressure Washing and Lawn LLC is more than just pressure washing, providing professional cleaning for homes, commercial buildings, parking lots, roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, and so much more, including lawn service and landscaping. Our mission here at Right Flow is to exceed the needs of all our customers while providing all of our services at an affordable rate. We're committed to going above and beyond where the job is done right. Give your property the care it deserves. Call Right Flow today at 409-363-2565 or go to rightflowwashandlawn.com.
Hey y'all, this is recording artist Garrison Nunn, and you're listening to a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. It's the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network. Stream the show anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio podcasts. You can also stream at thwn.org.
And back here on the show again, Lane Smith joining us here, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network. And, of course, out there, iHeartRadio podcast, thwn.org. And we're now in 27 countries worldwide, and always the sportsguyspodcast.com. So you mentioned what Austin did, but if you look back at this particular track, this was another high-streamed song for you, and you just took what we all need to hear about it. When you got a good thing going, you got to put it in a song, and you did that on this track. You did.
I just feel like, like when we wrote that song, I was like, luckily I'm happy where I'm at in life and stuff, but I was kind of looking, to the outside world. And I feel like it's very easy to cover up a lot of the hidden problems that are going on in the world, especially in a home life. And we just had that idea, and it was like, good thing going just kind of came to us when we wrote it. And I was like, I think this can relate to a bunch of people. And I think it's pretty true. I think there's a lot of things that a lot of people fight within themselves, or a relationship, or anything. It could be absolutely anything. It don't have to be a relationship, where they just don't want the outside world to know about it or see. And I said, well, if we're going to write something a little bit sad like that, then I think we should at least kick it up a notch and have it be a rocky kind of groove to it. And so, I was like, we put the line in there, keeping up with the Joneses and stuff. And but it's also, it hits you a little bit on the realistic side when it comes to the chorus. Like, don't be so surprised if one day you just see the house kind of go up for sale. Nobody really knew about it. We weren't trying to get into the politicking or drama of the surrounding area that we live in, but it was just kind of that deal. So not a personal story, but I think you can branch off that in a couple different ways. Felt like it really related with some folks, and it's obviously, yes, a fan favorite when we play it live. It's probably one of my first songs to where people were coming to the front of stage 4 and singing it back to me. So that's all you dream of as an artist, and I'm glad it hit people where it means something.
There's another one off there too. We've all been just a part of this in life too, and at some point, and I thought it was one of those songs that needed more attention and brought to light here too when I was looking at it and just listening to the title. But as a guy, we all know what this is about too, and luckily for me, it's my 15th wedding anniversary too. So I remember back 20 years ago, I bought a ring, and this ended up on this album too, and I'm still glad I bought that ring. Talk about this one for us.
That's great. I bought a ring. It was I wrote it with my producer, Brandon Hood, and we had the idea it was going to be a love song, and then we were just like, what if we just flipped it? What if it was just kind of like it didn't work? And I think those sell a little bit harder anyways. And so we were like, let's take off with that. And we did. It's a very simple song. You read it down from top to finish. I mean, it's about as simple as they come. There wasn't it didn't take us very long to write that. It was a song that I think just fit. But then it came to the chorus, and Phil Barton was the other writer on it. So love Phil Barton. Do some research if you don't know him. But yeah, between him and Brandon, Phil had this idea on the chorus. He's just like, you don't want me anymore. And it's like, that's exactly what you would say. Let's just sing it down. And it became a fan favorite. That might be the most fan favorite song we have right now. That and Break Mine. But we've been out west. We were out west earlier this year, and we strictly had people show up just for I Bought a Ring. And I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was one of those that's rocky. If you read it down, it will put you in your feels. But if you listen to it, it makes you kind of just want to jump around and, have a couple drinks, whatever. But I love that song. It's done great. It's streaming high. I'm very grateful for that. And we play it at every live show. So come to a live show and we'll play it for you.
Looking forward to getting out there too, no doubt. And if you're at a country radio seminar, go ahead and just count us in too. I'd love to get you in person just to talk more about this too. And definitely go hang out and meet the team. And no doubt about it, man. Just keep playing some great music out there too. Again, it's just fantastic. I love this one because I've had to talk about it because I grew up on the back roads, and I can always tell you too, when you do it, it's a drivable song. I love Toyota Tundras. Not that I guess I'm endorsing them here too at the same time. But the fact is you can crank it up, go 70, 75 miles per hour, and ran out of road. I got to talk about this one too at the same time because I always love me a good driving song. I don't want to run out of road, but I understand the gist of the song.
Yeah, that song, out of the whole record that we have, that song hits harder acoustically, I think. Like the full band version is just as good as the acoustic version. It's a writer's round song. It tells a story. Some of my great friends, Dan Wilson, Brett Cherokee, and Colton Finner, all high-level guys in Nashville. We sat down. We had that title. We wrote that song. Literally takes you, I feel like, for me, and the big stanza between all of us was like, the high school thing. It was like, it just wasn't ready to pop. It wasn't just mature enough to make it last just yet. But by gosh, it was every memory you had since you were in 8th grade. And I think we did an incredible job at that. We wrote it that day, I remember. And then the next morning, my management was like, hey, we need to figure out if we're going to cut this because like everybody in town for the most part wants it, publishers wise, like they want to pitch this like ASAP. And I just got a little bit greedy and I was like, somebody can still have it, but I'm definitely wanting to cut this. And yeah, I'm just glad we cut it and put our own version on it. I think there's still a couple people that are interested in it, which are way higher level than myself. So please have at it. But I do think it's the best storytelling song I have on the whole record. I think it takes you just from top to bottom. And it's obviously extremely relatable, but it's one of those that I'm grateful for. I love to play it acoustically. And yeah, just can't beat that song.
You mentioned a name through all that. The songwriters, I try to give them as much credit as I do the artists here on the program too, because without the songs, nobody can record just great material out there too. You mentioned a great one, Phil Barton, who he's done it all out there too. One of my good friends is over in Australia, an award-winning Australian artist over there, Haley Jensen. I know she's worked a lot with Phil. They're in Nashville, and she's flown over from Australia to record her records, and it's just a pretty cool thing to just work with that. Talk about not just with Phil, but those teams, and we talk about who you associate yourself with. Mention Ashley Walls and things like that, but you can only do so much as an artist out there too when it comes to that. I mean, you got so many areas you're being pulled in, but the team is key for the production of just anything out there you want to accomplish, right?
Oh, it's yeah. I mean, if anybody ever said they got to the top by themselves, they're a liar. I mean, in this industry, it's just a joke. I'll call you out. I don't care if you've won 4 CMAs. That doesn't bother me one bit. You cannot do this industry you cannot make it to the top by yourself. There's just things you don't know about it, and you have to learn. And then that's where you find, when you start learning the industry, you start finding the right people. I mean, you're going to have meetings, and the networking is great in the industry. Don't get me wrong. But you'll find folks that cater to you. And I think you have to think about it as an artist. You're not building a team for so-and-so and so-and-so and so. You're building a team for you. These people are going to represent you for as long as you're in the industry, as long as you work together, right? And you need people that understand you, the story, the direction you want to go, everything. And then you also have to trust them to tell that story appropriately to, maybe it's a label, maybe it's radio, maybe just whoever it is. You have to, I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I was talking with a buddy the other day about it, and I was just like, man, I can't believe that before you're in the industry, you don't realize that there's so many moving parts to it. You just think, hey, you write a song, you put it out, and it goes number one. That's not how this works at all. For some, it does. For 99.99% of them, it doesn't. So you have to, building your team's the most important thing. I mean, you just have to find folks that you trust in every aspect of the whole industry. And they're easy to get along with, but they'll stand up on your behalf. So I mean, it's huge. I could talk about that for 30 minutes, but that's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing. It is. Like I said, if you want to do 30 minutes, I got more time for you, no doubt. I mean, it's your show. We can talk about whatever you want to. I do want to throw in too, but I'm a huge college football fan.
Oh,
come on. I'll tell you this is going to be a fun year for this 12-team college football playoff. And I don't know, like I said, what side of the bracket. I know for me, they're not going to win it all, but I will say this, my Aggies can surprise some people down here. Being a Texas A&M household, and my wife went there too, so I had to adopt a college team, and I've got a pretty good one right here too coming up, this season. Where do you stand with this 12-team playoff? Are you okay with it being the 12? Do you want to see it go to 16? And who's your team? Did they make it this year?
All right. Well, you're going to hate this because I'm a hook 'em horns guy all the way to the day I die. I'm a hook 'em horns. Give it to me. All of it. Burnt orange. Let's go. My little brother, both my parents went to Texas. I just grew up in the culture. I love it. My little brother went to A&M, so he's on the other side, if you want to say that. But I don't have anything against A&M. I honestly, like, any Texas team is good for me, to be honest with you. I don't care. I would like to see kind of low-key Indiana pull off the Natty. But, look, if A&M makes it that far and Indiana doesn't, I don't want to see Ohio State win it again. I'll tell you that. I mean, as quick as daylight comes. The whole playoff thing, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I guess, it's the first year it's happened, right?
The first year of the 12-team playoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first of the 12. And like I said, I think if you keep adding teams, it becomes a little convoluted there, too, at the same time. But I see there's a lot. What I like about it, too, is because it's going to give you that March Madness kind of feel a little bit. Not that I expect, like, the Cinderella story of, like, James Madison to come in and beat an Oregon. Yep. Stuff like that too, but it is a 12 versus a 5. If they go to 16 and 18, which is good for that, they could actually probably eliminate some of these bowls that people don't care about,
Well, and I'll tell you this, and all the listeners, I'm not hating on your state at all. I promise you, we love you. We want to come play for you, especially if we have fans there. But as far as the Georgia and Alabama stuff, well, we've just seen them win so much that I'm kind of like, yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see how this all rolls. That's why I'm going for the underdogs. Tonight's Alabama, Oklahoma. Sorry, I hope Alabama wins. Texas and us, we don't get along. I love all my Oklahoma fans. Just the school. That's all I'm talking about. Just the team. I don't need to see y'all win, but I do agree with you. I think with the NIL stuff, it's already changed so much. It's like they probably tried to try this out, this whole 12-team deal, and see how it goes. I think it's cool because you get teams that probably would never see the light of day on the playoff side. Get to, look for Tulane, for instance, they're in there tonight on one game. I don't know if they're in the playoffs, but you get all these teams, you get more chances to get to the Natty. And I think that it is like March Madness in a sense of when you come to, you could have the number 1 and the number 2 teams, but you have your 5 and 6 teams, and you do that 12-man playoff, and you kind of find out who the real dog is and who really wants it the baddest. And it's not just saying, because you're number 1 through 4, you're going to get these 2 bowl games to play for the Natty. And I think it shouldn't work like that, because I think some of those teams can be beat. As for instance, Indiana versus Ohio State, they can be beat. I think first game of the season when Texas played them, I think we should have beat them. I think Arch was not on his roll at all. I think I love him to death. He's finally come into his own. I think next year's going to be he's going to be a force for sure next year. But I think, first game of the season, really only started one game last season. I think it was tough for him. But it goes to show you that even though they're the best team in the country per probably any analytics out there go, I think they can be beat, and they were beat. And so I think that this 12-man team deal really kind of brings that together, and it kind of shows you, hey, the 5, 6, 7 seed, they can be dogs too. Let's see how they really play when that pressure comes down to it. And I don't think the best teams are the best teams. I'll put it that way. I don't think the number 1's the number 1. I think that it needs to be proven on the field, and so that's the good thing about it. So we'll see.
We'll see. It's a 12-team playoff regardless there, too, at the same time, and we'll see who's going to be standing at the end. I'm like you. Don't want to see Ohio State win it again, too, at the same time, but I will say this. I think Notre Dame, got fleeced when it came down to it, but you know what? You got to be playing your best football come this time of year going into the playoffs compared to but they look at a lot of those head-to-head matchups and, of course, other statistical categories out there that do make a difference too at the same time. And I wanted to ask you about it as far as like hobbies and other things away from music. When not doing music, are you a hunting and fishing guy?
Totally. I just actually shot 4 does last week, or 3. I shot 3. My buddy shot 1. I shot 3 does. He shot 1 doe. We shot like 5 or 6 hogs, and we shot a beaver. But hey, listeners, it's legal in Texas to shoot beavers, and they do stop up the waterways, and my buddy's place specifically has a bunch of culverts that run through there that needed to be taken out. So we did that. But no, I definitely am a big hunter. Just got a new gun, new 6.5. It's killer.
I like that too. Like I said, and when I get a chance to do it, man, I tell you, I love to go out there. We'll have to go hunting, me and you, sometime. How's that?
We have a place in Paint Rock. Let's go. I'll be there in January. Come out with us.
I'd love to do it, man. No doubt about it, too. Like I said, listen to a little bit of Lane Smith music out there on the car to get there. And, of course, while you're in the blind, keep the earbuds in and listen to a little bit more, too. And then when the time's to pull the trigger out there, too, to get that deer when they walk in front of it, too, at the same time, we'll do all that, too. About food, never shy of a food category here. When there's love to talk about food here, too. And I know this time of year with traditions and holidays and family and things like that for Christmas, anything specific on the menu? I know for me, it's like I love tamales, just love Mexican food. My wife's Hispanic, so we go back and spend time with her family. For you, on the Christmas side of things, menu-wise, is there a tradition or a food that has to be kind of on the menu?
I feel like kind of every year unplanned, if it's either for Thanksgiving or for Christmas, it's always a brisket. I think we always do a brisket. That's pretty Texas of me to say. I feel like that's a very Texas answer, but yeah, it's definitely a brisket's always on there. We always do some baby backs, ribs or spare ribs, but for some reason there always just seems to be a brisket that ends up at our place during the holiday season. That's kind of what we strive for. And I think next year, I think we're going to go after and chase the beef ribs down, because those are like, that'll put you in a meat coma in about 30 seconds. I mean, that's about the best bite of meat you can have in the world. I mean, that's as good as it gets. So next year, I think we're going to do that. But a brisket this year for sure. So.
Well, let's talk about this. New Year's resolutions, anything out there, too, that you're looking at? I know for me, it was okay, back in the gym and lose the weight, which I've done now, too. Keep the workouts going, no doubt about it, too, because it's become not just a hobby, but a lifestyle. For me out there, too, people making those New Year's resolutions, and it could be anything from a career side of things to the personal side of things. If you have, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to kind of get into momentum a little bit?
One, I think, like on the career side, I just think you can always get better. So that's a resolution for me, is just always find a place that I'm lacking and get better at it. Your career doesn't grow. It only grows as much as you put into it. So I think there's some areas that, although I feel like I work very hard at it, I feel like there's some loopholes in there where I can get better at doing that. And so that's one of them. I think on the second side of things, hobby-wise, I grew up roping and stuff, and I think just getting back, I've gotten back more into that this year for sure, and I think just sticking with that, it's just something too, like coming back off the road and kind of being centered again, grounded again, and getting to do what I grew up doing, like a comfortable aspect to life, and just be able to find the time to do that a little more and be with my wife a little more. And, we're already gone so much from our loved ones that, like, just be a little better for them. I feel like the first 3 years of your career is the most critical. It's about like where you're going to be in 3 years. I don't think it should be like, where is it at next year? I think 3 to 5 years is where you should, when you start something, plan and see where you set a goal to where you want to be between then. And I think I've hit that, but it takes pretty much 100% all in, and it still does, but you really have to hit it hard to just get your name out there and stuff. So I think those are real critical moments, and you get caught up doing it when you're, 3 years is a long time, and 5 years is a long time, and we're in it 4. So that's a very critical time. You have to put everything in 100%. I think so. This New Year's resolution is just like, now that I know how it's going and I felt it out, I felt my schedule out a little bit, I can slow down a little bit when I get home. I don't have to always be thinking about this and trying to do that. Like, slow it down and work when I need to work, and, just be a little more present. I think that's a big thing in this industry, because we're always gone so much. People don't see that, but, when I don't know the last time, a lot of folks have been gone for 2 months away and didn't see anything but the road and hotels, so it's a blessing. That's what you pray for. I'll never ever say anything bad about that. That's a misconception in this industry. I think everybody loves it till they get busy, and then you figure out who's going to stay with it and who's not. But for me, that's what I loved. And growing up rodeoing, it was the same thing. It was a different town every weekend kind of thing. So I was a little bit used to that. But it's not easy, but it's what you love to do. That's why you're out there. It's the reward is going to shows, and you're a day's drive away from your house, and there's people there for your music. It's the craziest thing that you could imagine, but that's what you prayed for, and now you're in that position. So make the most of it, and don't be bitching about it. That's the way I look at it.
Hey, soak it all in when you get the chance. And of course, it's all about those collaborations and a guy that understands the grind, the work ethic, especially coming from the rodeo background out there too. And I know you're going to do well. We're going to see you on those big time stages, no doubt about it. CMAs and ACMs, man, in your future too. I'll make some bold predictions here on the show with the guests that I've had too, and I'm putting you right up there with the crux of these artists too in this next wave talent of country music too as well. Someone you don't want to know, Ashley Walls and Lane Smith collaboration on the duet out there across all the DSPs. And of course, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Lane, we appreciate you being here on the show, my friend, and looking forward to many more great things, and appreciate your time. And definitely, man, just happy holidays, continued success going forward in the next year.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for having me on.
Got it. Lane Smith out there. Give him a follow across all these social media. Look for big things coming up in 2026. KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and THWN.org, and the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and of course out there too anytime on iHeartRadio Podcast. God bless. Take care. We'll see you soon coming up over the next few weeks. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Hey guys and girls, this is Australian country artist Hayley Jensen, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime on iHeartRadio Podcasts and on THWN.org.